In the year 2020, Indian and Chinese forces clashed in Galwan. The clash was followed by tanks facing each other around the Pangong Tso, a lake spanning eastern Ladakh and western Tibet. And now reports suggest hectic activity in the area is underway. A number of infrastructure developments have been initiated on both sides since the standoff. India is building a black-topped road on its side on the north bank. And New Delhi is also working on the alternate axis to critical Darbok Daulat Beg Oldie Road through the Sezerla. China is rushing to complete a bridge across the Pangong Tso, connecting the north and south banks, and work is now reportedly underway on the main bridge, while the secondary bridge has been completed. Apart from the bridge, work on road connectivity along the south bank towards Chandong village is also under progress. In addition, a 22-kilometer-long tunnel is under construction along the expressway at Yuli, connecting to the very important highway in Tibet. India holds 1/3 of the 135-kilometer-long boomerang-shaped Pangong Lake. Mountain spurs of the Chang-Chenmo range jutting down into the glacial lake are referred to as fingers. And India has always held the lake till finger 4, but its claims run till finger 8. Which is where the Indian perception of the LAC lies, as reiterated by New Delhi on several occasions. And for more on this, Captain Alok Bansal, Director, India Foundation, with us live from New Delhi. If you can just put this into context for us, your reading of what has emerged at this point.
See, firstly, we need to understand that for some strange reasons, after 1962, Indian policymakers had gone into a limbo. And we actually did not build any infrastructure all along line of actual control under a perception that this will bring Chinese down, not realizing that this was required to counter them. It is only in recent past that we have started building infrastructure. And what we have done now is on the northern bank of Pangong Tso, as you know, the Chinese had built a track which was coming up to finger 4, I think so. And that's why we have been now doing the black topping. The Chinese are building a bridge in Pangong Tso, which is well within their territory. It is not only across LAC, it is across international border. So this fact must be understood that this is well beyond, it is well inside Tibetan territory, where they are building a bridge on Pangong Tso. They have built a secondary bridge, they are trying to build another bridge. What has happened is that we have built an excellent road network on our side of eastern Ladakh. We now have a road running up to Daulat Beg Oldie. Now we are creating an alternative road. And this is actually giving us, our forces, much more comfort as far as supplying them their rations, their ammunition, and essential logistics is concerned. So now I think both the countries are apprehensive of the moves by the other. And consequently, both are trying to build up infrastructure along line of actual control. And that is the issue. But by and large, the situation has been under control. There has been demilitarization to some extent, not along Pangong Tso, but in some sectors. And there has not been any fresh skirmish for a very, very long time.
Right. Where do you see the disengagement talks really headed between the two sides, though?
See, I think disengagement will take time because our experience of negotiating with Chinese show that it takes long time for Chinese to come around to a point. But it is my personal reading that at this point of time, China does not want a conflict with India. And so eventually it will have to back down and revert back to the status quo ante as it existed before the clash in Galwan Valley. And I think it will take time, but I think it will come about. And I think there is, of course, there has always been a problem as far as this particular area of line of actual control is concerned, because our perceptions of LAC have always differed. And if you actually go back into the reports of the MOD, you'll find that MOD has been consistently reporting transgressions by Chinese troops. But if you go and see the PLA's reports, they have also been claiming similar thing because it is different perceptions of LAC. But I think now China realizes that India is a strong power. Indian armed forces are fairly strong. And more importantly, at this point of time, I think as far as a ground position is concerned, a tactical position is concerned, India is in a position to give them a befitting reply. And I think consequently, it is unlikely that they would have any conflict in near future. I personally feel that Chinese would slowly but certainly accommodate some of India's concerns, if not all. So I think it will take time because knowing Chinese, they like to maneuver, they have their own delaying processes. But we need to understand that the last conflict also showed that as far as Chinese population is concerned,
right,
there is some amount of reluctance for the troops to go into such inhospitable terrains.
Right. Captain Alok Bansal, thanks very much for being here on the broadcast with us.